Right guys, another recommendation. This is from Barbell Schneider 500. Here, Wind of Chance from Scorpions, over 1 billion likes. So I've found that video and it is 1.1 billion views 15 years ago. I have done one reaction to Scorpions before. It was about 3-4 years ago. I can't honestly remember it, but I can, because he's actually put that comment in that reaction, and that was Send Me an Angel. 28,000 views on that. So yeah, it must have been watched a fair few times, and you know, got some nice comments on it. So let's go into this, and that's coming next. Right guys, before I play this song, please do subscribe, comment, hit the bell. That should be about here-ish, and actually the bell's below, but the symbol is here. And let me know what you think of my score for this. And the score, just to kind of reiterate a point I've mentioned a few times, it's my score, so it's a first time reacting score to this song. It's not because I'm a fan of theirs, I've not heard this song before. I'm not trying to put myself in a position of an expert. It's completely a position of an ignorant person who's never heard this song, okay? And it's just my brutal honesty. So whatever that's worth, here we go.
Follow the Moskva down to Gorky Park, listening to the wind
What
of change. An August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. Closing in. Did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing with the wind of change. Change blows straight into that phase of time, like a storm wind. Then we ring the freedom bell for peace of mind. Play the ballad like I sing what my guitar wants to sing.
at it from up here. You get an appreciation of our world is a beautiful place, and we do need to take care of it.
Wow, I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. Today's the 27th of January 25, and it's the 80th anniversary of Auschwitz being liberated in Poland, and it's also a few days after Trump has taken presidency in the US. It's where there's there's a genocide about to happen in Congo. There's a war in Congo. There's lots of wars going on. There's a Ukrainian and Russian war, which is just doesn't seem to be coming to an end unless there's a massive compromise of nothing more but land. And then there's the Palestine and Israel conflict, and there's a massive rise of fascism and indifference and intolerance happening right now all over the world that I see, from India to the US and every country in between. And in the Far East there's coups, there's presidents and prime ministers and royals just going from being leaders of a nation to spending the time in jail and being executed. All these horrible things are happening, and it's just such a fitting song, such a beautiful reminder of that paradox of humanity. And that's what war is. It reveals the darkest depths of human cruelty. I've read the Gulag Archipelago, Solzhenitsyn, and it's one of the most toughest things I've ever read. Not because I'm little bit literally challenged, because I find it difficult to read complex work, but also morally it was really tough. And I read the book about the 101st Police Brigade by Christopher somebody, Ordinary Men. I would say I wish I didn't read that, but it opened my eyes a lot. Don't read it if you've got a weak stomach. And it forces us to confront, how can we be capable of so much love as humans and perpetuate such suffering at the same time? And Auschwitz is the fragility of freedom. These concentration camps, they were the fragility of freedom. The liberation remember, it reminds us that freedom is a gift and a fragile responsibility. We take it for granted. I think freedom is not just during wars and occupation and imprisonment. I think freedom is also of the mind. A lot of people are within their own mental jails, and the ability to think has been extinguished over time because a lot of people are programmed in a certain way. They're forced. No, not forced. That's the wrong word. They feel obliged to pick a side. I'll give you an example. Palestine and Israel. I got people who would do anything for the Palestinian people, people of Gaza and the innocent people. Over 47,000 people who have perished, mainly women and children, right? And then I've got friends who swear by the IDF, they swear by Israel, they swear that the right thing is happening and Hamas should be taken out. What about people who just care about humanity? There is no weakness of being in the middle. There's no weakness in just saying it's wrong on both ends. There's no weakness in to know that the silence has fallen on war erases generations. You imagine that the 47,000 people in Palestine, for example, or the thousands in Israel and the hostages, these people that have died and perished, or there's 8 million people in World War II, mainly Jews. Imagine the generations that have died, the bloodlines that have died out of them people. Think back to, for example, if you think back 80 years ago, who was your forefather? Maybe your grandfather, your great-grandfather, it may even be you, right? Think about 80 years ago. How many generations have come into existence since Auschwitz was liberated, right? And now if we consider 8 million people, humans, have perished, extinguished in, I think it was about 7 years, right? I know the numbers fluctuated, they fluctuate over time, but because sometimes there was a lot of deaths, sometimes there was less deaths. But think about the generations that have died. So in my family, for example, there's probably around, from my great-grandfather, I'm guessing a number off the top of my head, probably about 80 people in existence. It could be more, right? Times that by 8 million. You see what I'm going? It's generations that have been erased. Imagine like all the Mozarts, the Einsteins, the Mandelas, and all these other great people that have just perished, as in the likes of great people that we've never ever will hear. People who make great music, of the art. A war, it erases generation. And the cost of peace is not absence of war, but the presence of justice and empathy. That's what peace is. It's not the absence of war. Peace doesn't mean, peacetime isn't non-wartime. I don't think it is. It's the presence of justice and empathy. I think that's what peace is. It demands sacrifices of understanding humanity and understanding the sacrifice of war. And the true victims are always innocent. A child without family, a mother without home, it's like a soul without hope. They're the ones that bear the brunt of decisions. And I remember speaking to military people from military. I've got a massive soft spot for people who serve in the army, especially when they're serving on the right side of history. I've got a lot of friends in the armed services. I met 2 of them this morning on 2 separate occasions. It's very close to my heart. I have a lot of respect, not just for the men who go out and fight and the women who go out and fight, but those who stay at home. I remember speaking to this woman about near Christmas time, about a month ago, and she said to me, she was, how old is she? Probably 88, 89, and she said to me, it's the women who also had a war. They had a war at home while the men were out fighting. They didn't know if their men were coming back. They didn't know if their men had perished. They had massive, not sanctions, they had food cards and I don't know what you call them, like tokens. Apologies, I've forgotten the term. Rations. They had rations of how much they can eat to take care of their family. They had one toilet down the street. They had blackouts where they had to turn all the candles and lights out in their home in case they were getting bombed. Some did get bombed. They had air raids. Sometimes they were sleeping in shelters. They also fought a war. It's not just the men who fought a war, it's the women, the mothers, the children fought a war. And I think this song, I've gone on to a bit of a segue, but I think this song, it's almost a plea for unity. I think on this anniversary we should remember that the divisions that we fight over they're really insignificant compared to the shared humanity that binds us. And I think that image at the end compels that very well. It is, and there was a rabbi that said this, and I may not remember it verbatim, but he said the world is a small place, it's a fragile place, and we must take care of it and ensure we live together in peace on it. They're not very deeply profound words, but they're very moving, and they have got a lot of depth to them at the same time. The graves of Auschwitz, they should stand as a reminder, and people that have died in the war. When we lose sight of our common humanity, we all lose. And I think that's it almost points to a subjective morality, and I think morality is sorry, not subjective. It points towards the poison of a subjective morality, but the fact that we all recognize it is evident of a objective morality. And I think Nietzsche was right in many senses. I won't go into all that now, but I think this song for me, it's so fitting, it's so perfect to play on this day. I'm not going to rate it because it doesn't fall onto any scale, you know. It's just very moving. Thank you very much.